Did you know? Nebraska was once home to some serious prehistoric action evidenced by the ashfall fossil beds. This active dig site preserves an ancient watering hole where rhinos and other animals died during a volcanic ashfall 12 million years ago. X-rays were discovered by Wilhelm Röntgen in 1895 while experimenting with cathode rays. He noticed a screen coated with a fluorescent material glowing in his darkened lab even when not directly in the beam. The Brahminy blind snake is entirely parthenogenetic, which means there are no males at all. Every single individual is female and reproduces by cloning herself, laying tiny eggs. New Zealand is where you'll find the incredibly rare yellow-eyed penguin, or hoiho, which is one of the world's most endangered penguin species. They're super shy and prefer to nest in native coastal forests. The very first skateboard competition ever was held in Hermosa Beach, California, way back in 1963. It was organized by Makaha Skates and really kicked off the whole competitive scene. The iconic rope-a-dope strategy used by Muhammad Ali against George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle was actually brilliant. Ali leaned on the ropes to absorb punches and tire Foreman out in the 1974 fight. The legendary test pilot Chuck Yeager, the first person to break the sound barrier, was born in Myra, West Virginia in 1923. He's a true American hero, and a proud West Virginian, no doubt. If you were watching a sunset on Mars, it wouldn't be red like on Earth, it would actually be blue. The fine dust in Mars's atmosphere scatters light in a way that makes the sun look blue. Seriously cool, right? There's a tiny little pit in your retina called the fovea, and it's super important for your sharpest central vision. It's where you see all the fine details. The magnificent warship Vasa sank just 1,100 meters into its maiden voyage in 1628 right in Stockholm Harbor. It lay preserved on the seabed for 333 years before being salvaged. Iowa's state capitol building in Des Moines is seriously unique with its 5 sides, making it the only one of its kind in the entire world. Plus, it's got that stunning 23-karat gold leaf dome, you know? The ancient Olmec people in Mesoamerica carved these massive stone heads, some weighing up to 40 tons. They actually moved these giant basalt boulders over 60 miles without wheels, which is just mind-blowing. Thailand is the world's largest exporter of durian fruit, often called the king of fruits. Despite its strong smell, this spiky fruit is incredibly popular there. The town of Barra, Vermont is famously known as the granite capital of the world, thanks to its massive Rock of Ages quarry. Turns out this quarry has been producing some of the highest quality granite globally since the 1880s, no joke. You know your phone's green and Pyrex dishes? Turns out both are thanks to Corning Incorporated, headquartered in Corning, New York. They've been innovating glass technology since 1851. Missouri was actually home to the very first American viticultural area, AVA. Augusta, Missouri earned that designation in 1980, even before Napa Valley establishing it as a serious winemaking region. Chile's national football team, La Roja, has had some major successes, including winning the Copa America not once, but twice in a row. They took home the trophy in both 2015 and 2016, beating Argentina both times. The beaver hat craze in Europe in the 17th–19th centuries led to intense trapping and hunting in North America, profoundly shaping the continent's early history. This demand nearly wiped out beaver populations in some areas. On most flights, the pilot and co-pilot are served different meals. It's a clever safety precaution implemented to prevent both flight crew members from potentially getting food poisoning at the same time. The leading theory for how the moon formed is called the giant impact hypothesis, where a Mars-sized object slammed into early Earth. This catastrophic collision ejected debris that eventually coalesced to form our moon. The stunning Drakensberg Mountains in South Africa are famous for their incredibly dramatic dragon's back shape and basalt cliffs. Its highest peak, the Bana Intelinyana, reaches an amazing 3,482 meters. Enterprise, Alabama has a monument dedicated to an insect, the boll weevil, because it actually forced farmers to diversify their crops. This crazy monument, erected in 1909, celebrates how adversity can lead to prosperity. You might sip it, but get this. The iconic Jack Daniel's distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee is actually the oldest registered distillery in the entire US. It was officially established way back in 1866. No joke. The Big Island is home to Calais, also known as South Point, which is the southernmost point in the entire United States. You can even see ancient Hawaiian fishing shrines there dating back centuries. Maine is home to the largest operating granite quarry in the world, located on Mount Waldo. It's been active for over 150 years, producing granite for huge projects. Modern Egyptian Arabic has some super unique sounds and phrases you won't hear elsewhere in the Arab world. Turns out it's actually the most widely understood dialect because of Egyptian movies and TV shows from the Golden Age. Your memories aren't perfectly preserved recordings. They're actually reconstructed each time you recall them, making them super susceptible to changes and distortions. Elizabeth Loftus's research proved how easily memories can be altered. Media mogul David Geffen owns one of the world's largest superyachts, the Rising Sun, which is over 450 feet long. He often hosts famous friends on board for lavish cruises around the globe. Stan Lee, the legend was actually born Stanley Martin Lieber, and started using Stan Lee as a pen name for early comics. He originally saved his real name for the great American novels he hoped to write someday. Black holes aren't totally black. They actually glow with something called Hawking radiation, named after the legendary Stephen Hawking. This tiny emission means they slowly lose mass, and over quadrillions of years eventually evaporate completely. One of the most expensive domain names ever sold was careinsurance.com, going for a massive $49.7 million. This record-breaking sale happened back in 2010, showing just how valuable premium web addresses can be. The famous California Zephyr passenger train in the US uses special dome cars that give you incredible panoramic views. You can basically see the entire landscape unfold above and around you on your journey. The treacherous waters off North Carolina's Outer Banks are famously known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic. Over 5,000 shipwrecks have occurred there due to shifting sandbars and storms dating back centuries. While hockey is super famous here, Canada's official national sport is actually lacrosse, designated way back in 1859. It's an ancient sport played by Indigenous peoples for centuries, making it deeply rooted in Canadian history. Stairway to Heaven is one of rock's most legendary songs, right? But here's the kicker. Led Zeppelin never actually released it as a commercial single, meaning you couldn't buy it separately back then. Crazy, huh? For some deep-sea anglerfish, the tiny male actually bites onto the female and permanently fuses with her. He literally becomes a parasitic sperm provider for the rest of his life. No joke. Water skiing was actually invented in Lake City, Minnesota. Ralph Samuelson strapped some boards to his feet in 1922 and took to the waters of Lake Pepin, starting a whole new sport. Space Invaders was so popular in Japan when it launched in 1978 that it actually led to a temporary shortage of 100 yen coins. People were just pouring them into arcade machines. England has only ever won the FIFA World Cup once in their entire history. It happened way back in 1966 when they hosted the tournament and beat West Germany in the final. Studio Ghibli actually owns a small forest in Saitama Prefecture called the Totoro Forest to help preserve the natural environment. They even sell Totoro merchandise to help fund its protection efforts, which is pretty cool. Those fortune cookies you love? Turns out they actually weren't invented in China at all, but most likely in California, USA by Japanese immigrants. So yeah, not a traditional Chinese treat. The marathon's iconic 26.2-mile distance isn't ancient tradition. It was specifically set for the 1908 London Games, so the race could end in front of the royal family. That's a fun fact for your next run. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood, and here's the wild part: 2 of those hearts actually stop beating when they swim, which is exactly why they'd rather just crawl around than race through the water. Honey basically never goes bad. Archaeologists found 3,000-year-old honey sitting in Egyptian tombs, and it was still totally edible. The stuff is pretty much immortal. The first major skateboarding video game was Skate or Die. Released by Electronic Arts in 1987, it truly captured the thrill of skating, featuring various events from half-pipe to downhill races, and totally blew people's minds. If you enjoyed these, subscribe for daily facts and catch the shorts too.